The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a totally new obsession.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the internet just exploded.
Welcome to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Yeah, and today we have a massive one for you.
We really do. Today's deep dive is all about the headline everyone is talking about. Bunnie XO moves on with a much younger reality star after her split from Jelly Roll.
It is the ultimate collision of modern pop culture, honestly.
Right. I mean, we've pulled together a ton of sources for you guys today. We're looking at celebrity news reports from places like TMZ, Taste of Country, Bollywood Shotties.
But we're also crossing that with some serious legal analysis on family court custody laws and even a New York law school review on this thing called the right of publicity.
Which sounds dry, but I promise you it's where the real juice of the story is.
Oh, totally. It completely changes how you look at this entire breakup.
Because this isn't just a breakup, right? It's like a masterclass in how modern stars control and, frankly, monetize their own drama.
Exactly.
But let's set the scene first. Let's go back to the inciting incident. Picture this. It's the 4th of July.
Right. Fireworks everywhere.
Exactly. The sky over downtown Nashville is just exploding. But down on the VIP rooftop of this packed, newly opened bar, under all these flashing blue lights, nobody is looking at the sky.
No, they're looking at the VIP section.
Because a 46-year-old podcast mogul is passionately kissing a 24-year-old reality TV cowboy.
I mean, cell phone cameras were instantly up.
Obviously. The crowd was totally locked in. And within minutes, the footage is everywhere. TMZ has it. TikTok has it.
And just like that, the news cycle is hijacked.
Right. So we have Bunnie XO, who is 46, and Dylan Wolf, who is 24.
Which, a 22-year age gap is always going to generate headlines.
Oh, for sure. But the craziest part isn't even the age gap. It's the geography of where this kiss happened.
Yeah, this was not subtle at all.
No, they weren't like hiding in some dark corner booth at a random dive bar. They were at Goodnight, Nashville.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, just happens to be Jelly Roll's brand new Lower Broadway bar.
Her estranged husband's bar.
I know, it's wild.
And wait, it gets even crazier. Jelly Roll actually dedicated an entire floor of this 5-story bar to Bunnie.
Yeah, he did.
It has a massive portrait of her face and this giant neon sign that says, "In hoes we trust."
The irony is just, it's profound, really. I mean, Bunnie is stepping out publicly with a new guy, and she deliberately chooses the VIP rooftop of a building that is basically a monument to her estranged husband.
A building she helped build, honestly.
Exactly. Goodnight Nashville is supposed to be this permanent tribute to Jelly's local roots. So choosing this exact spot for a public debut with a new guy, it sends a very clear, very territorial message.
Oh, it's completely territorial.
Bro.
Which brings us to the new guy in the equation, who is Dylan Wolf.
Right, so he's 24. He's a veteran of the Netflix reality show Calabasas Confidential.
And he goes by Malibu's cowboy online.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not just a costume. He actually worked on a ranch in Malibu, and he totally dominates the Rodeo Talk algorithm.
But if you look at his dating history, and we did, it reads less like a romantic past and more like a resume for generating digital drama.
It really is optimized for screen time. Like, during his run on Calabasas Confidential, he was involved in all these overlapping situationships.
He had that really volatile history with his high school girlfriend, Gemma. Lots of intense screaming matches on camera.
And then he bounced right from a fling with someone named Emma Medrano straight into a storyline with another castmate, Suede Brooks.
And that's not even the wildest part, because just recently, before the 4th of July, he was linked to Delilah Bell Hamlin.
Right, the 29-year-old daughter of Harry Hamlin and Lisa Rinna.
Though Dylan was super quick to tell the press that was just a short-lived summer romance.
Because of course he was. I mean,
Yeah.
Looking at this pattern, Dylan is basically a trained operative in reality TV warfare.
He knows exactly how to keep his name in the algorithm.
He really does. And we saw this immediately after the kiss leaked to TMZ. What did he do?
He posted a cryptic TikTok, of course.
Yep, a TikTok of him and Bunnie together, and he's wearing the exact same "I love a girl from Malibu" hat that he had on during the kiss.
The audacity. And his caption? Oh my God. He wrote, "At everyone thinking they're connecting the dots."
And then he dropped the massive hook. He wrote, "Undeleted pod coming soon" at Bunnie XO.
Okay, we have to pause here. Because if you're loving these Hollywood twists so far, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead, and you don't want to miss how this unfolds.
Seriously, hit subscribe
Mm.
because the drama is just getting started.
Right, so let's talk about that caption. Undeleted pod. He is openly weaponizing the mystery of her divorce.
He absolutely is,
Yeah.
because that phrase is a direct reference to this massive digital disappearing act Bunnie pulled right before the 4th of July.
Yes. To understand why that teaser is so potent, we have to look back at the timeline of the split itself.
Because the contrast between how they started and this current digital warfare is just stark.
It really is. So let's reestablish the timeline for everyone. Jelly Roll and Bunnie met way back in 2015 at the Las Vegas Country Saloon.
Back when Jelly Roll was essentially homeless.
Yeah, he was living out of a '96 conversion van. And Bunnie was financially independent. She was working in the sex industry, eventually transitioned to OnlyFans, and launched her Dumb Blonde podcast.
They got married in 2016, and she literally financed his early albums.
She helped him get custody of his daughter. I mean, they built a multi-million-dollar empire together from scratch.
It was a partnership based on pure survival. They went through so much together, even a brief separation in 2018 because of Jelly Roll's infidelity.
But they rebuilt from that. They even renewed their vows in 2023.
Right. But then, fast forward to May 18th, 2026. Jelly Roll officially filed for divorce in Tennessee, citing irreconcilable differences.
And the catalyst for that, according to Bunnie, was a massive blowout fight on Mother's Day, May 10th.
She apparently told him to pack a bag and drop the papers.
And we only know these super granular details because Bunnie recorded a tell-all episode of her podcast explaining the entire breakdown.
And then, almost immediately, she deleted it.
Yes. The audio just vanished from all platforms. Every promotional post on social media was aggressively scrubbed.
But, I mean, let's be real. In 2026, can you really delete anything?
Exactly. That's what I wanted to ask you. Does trying to scrub a highly anticipated podcast actually protect a celebrity's privacy, or does it just weaponize their fan base's curiosity?
It totally weaponizes it. From an architectural standpoint, the internet doesn't allow for true deletion once a file is public. The second she pulled it down, the demand to hear it just skyrocketed.
It's the Streisand effect on steroids.
Precisely. By removing the information, she created a vacuum. In today's media ecosystem, deletion isn't actually erasure. It's high-level marketing.
It turns absence into an asset.
That is exactly it. And before it vanished, listeners had already archived some critical takeaways.
Of course they did.
So we know Bunnie claimed they were still best friends. She revealed Jelly Roll was giving her the dream home they were building as part of the settlement.
Oh, and she aggressively shut down those rumors linking her to Chad Kroeger from Nickelback.
Daddy chatty.
Yes, Daddy Chatty. She said there was no way in hell she was with him.
And Jelly Roll totally leaned into this amicable narrative too.
He did. During a concert in New York, he actually stopped the show to talk to the crowd. He called Bunnie his best friend and said she would probably be the only woman he'd ever love like that.
He also firmly drew a line in the sand about cheating. He told the audience point blank, nobody cheated on nobody.
So we have this carefully curated public narrative of a super peaceful separation,
Right, sitting right alongside the frantic deletion of a tell-all podcast.
which is now being used as promotional bait by a 24-year-old reality star on TikTok.
It just keeps everyone on the hook.
It really does. But later in the episode, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming. Because while the romantic relationship is clearly over, their legal ties are far from severed.
Yeah, and this leads us to the most complex revelation from that deleted audio.
Brace yourselves for this one. Despite divorcing, Jelly Roll and Bunnie XO still plan to have a baby together using a surrogate and IVF.
I mean, wow.
Right. They've been very transparent about their fertility struggles for a long time.
Yeah, they've gone through IVF rounds, egg retrievals, and they've suffered the tragic loss of 4 embryos. So finding a surrogate was a massive victory for them.
Huge victory. But moving forward with the surrogacy while simultaneously navigating a divorce, that introduces a staggering amount of legal friction.
It creates an absolute labyrinth. We were looking at some analysis from Amber Candelaria, who is a family attorney and a family court judge candidate.
And she points out that the law is really struggling to accommodate what we now call unconventional families.
Exactly. The legal mechanism to handle this entirely depends on the timeline of the surrogate's pregnancy.
So wait, if the surrogate is already pregnant before the divorce is finalized, how does a judge untangle that?
So courts generally use what's called a 2-part divorce. First, they execute the financial separation. They split the marital assets, legally dissolve the marriage. but they hit pause on anything child-related
Okay, that makes sense.
because most states refuse to rule on custody for an unborn child. So Part 2, which dictates custody and support, is only initiated after the birth.
It's essentially like splitting up a giant parent company, right? But you realize you have this highly anticipated joint venture product still in the R&D phase.
That is a great analogy.
You have to sever the corporate ties today, but you have to wait for the product launch before you can legally figure out who owns the patent.
That captures the structural delay perfectly. But Tennessee, which is where Jelly Roll filed, presents a massive, very specific legal hurdle.
Oh boy, what is it?
If the entire pregnancy, meaning the embryo transfer and the gestation, happens after the divorce is finalized, they are considered legally single at the time of conception.
Okay.
In that scenario, Tennessee law defaults to granting 100% custody to the mother.
Wait, really? Let me make sure I'm understanding the mechanics of this. Even if it is Jelly Roll's biological genetic material, the law just defaults to maternal custody simply because they aren't married anymore.
Yes, 100%. The historical precedent for these laws is based on the fact that, at birth, maternity is physically obvious, but paternity, historically, required establishment.
Right, because when unwed parents have a child, the state defaults to the mother to ensure immediate guardianship.
Exactly. Which makes sense in an era before DNA testing or complex IVF contracts.
But applied to a modern surrogacy, that creates a massive burden for the father.
It totally does. Now, Tennessee courts generally favor 50-50 joint custody and would probably support that outcome here eventually.
Yeah.
But the procedural burden falls entirely on Jelly Roll.
Because of the timing.
Right. He has to initiate specific, potentially really arduous legal actions just to be officially recognized as the father, despite providing the genetic material.
The paperwork alone is just staggering to consider. I mean, imagine you're sitting in a lawyer's office, untangling a decade of shared financial history, while simultaneously signing contracts across the hall to bind yourselves together legally for the next 18 years.
It is an intense merging and severing of physical and biological assets.
It really is. But you know, the hardest thing to divide in a modern celebrity divorce isn't the house or the money.
No, it's their shared intangible assets.
Exactly. They have to literally figure out how to divide their public identities. And if you're enjoying how we break down the hidden side of Hollywood, stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Because this next part is where the law gets really fascinating.
It does, because this brings us to the New York Law School review regarding the right of publicity.
Right. So looking at this legal doctrine, it seems like the right of publicity basically treats a human being's face, name, and voice the exact same way a corporation treats a trademark logo.
It's brand protection, but applied to human traits. It prevents other people from unjustly enriching themselves using your identity.
That is the core mechanism, yeah. It protects the commercial value of the persona.
But the law review focuses specifically on New York, right?
It does, because New York is one of a minority of states that only offers statutory protection for this right. They have expressly rejected a common law right of publicity.
Wait, let's translate the real-world impact of that for a second. Statutory protection means it has to be explicitly written down in legislative code, right?
Exactly.
So a celebrity can't just go to a judge and argue that someone stealing their face feels unfair under evolving common law.
Nope. So an entertainer operating in that jurisdiction has to be incredibly paranoid and aggressive with their licensing paperwork.
Because the protection is strictly limited to the letter of the statute. They have to rely on ironclad contracts to dictate exactly how their likeness is used, licensed, and monetized.
Right. If it isn't in the contract, the protection is incredibly difficult to enforce.
But I have to question how enforceable this really is today anyway. I mean, how does the right of publicity survive in the era of TikTok stitches, unauthorized AI voice clones, and viral reaction videos?
It's tough. We are looking at an ecosystem built entirely on the unauthorized use of other people's likenesses.
Right.
It is a massive gray area that courts are currently battling over. It usually comes down to whether the usage is transformative or strictly for commercial gain.
But when we look at Bunnie, Jelly Roll, and Dylan, we aren't talking about random fans making memes in their bedrooms.
No, not at all. We are talking about highly sophisticated entertainers whose entire survival depends on exploiting these exact traits.
Exactly. When Dylan Wolf posts a TikTok using his face next to Bunnie's face, teasing an undeleted pod, he is actively leveraging their combined right of publicity.
He is generating targeted hype, which translates to algorithmic priority.
Yeah.
Which translates directly to revenue.
They are fully monetizing the ambiguity of the divorce. Have we reached a point in pop culture where a high-profile divorce isn't just a legal separation of assets, but a calculated cross-promotional brand extension for everyone involved?
It certainly functions like one. I mean, look at the results.
Yeah.
Jelly Roll receives endless high-visibility press for his new Lower Broadway bar because his estranged wife chose it as a stage to make out with a reality star.
Yep. And Bunnie generates a massive surge in podcast demand because she created an information vacuum by deleting an episode.
And Dylan Wolf transitions from a Netflix ensemble cast member to the main character of a national celebrity news cycle.
It is a highly efficient, symbiotic ecosystem of publicity. They are legally separating their private lives, sure, but their public personas remain deeply intertwined for mutual commercial benefit.
And Bunny is making sure she controls her own narrative pivot in all of this.
Oh, definitely. While all of this drama is unfolding, she announced she got accepted to Arizona State University.
Yeah, she wants to get her doctorate and become Dr. XO.
That is elite narrative control right there. By dropping an academic acceptance right into the middle of a tabloid divorce cycle, she forces the public to view her differently.
She is refusing the static role of the divorcee. She's positioning herself as an evolving entrepreneur, embarking on a new intellectual chapter.
It adds immediate depth and a whole new demographic appeal to the Bunnie X brand.
It's brilliant PR.
It really is.
Yeah.
So why should you, the listener, care about any of this? Because dismissing this as mere tabloid gossip really misses the larger structural lesson here.
It's a real-time case study in how modern relationships function when the people involved are literal corporations.
Exactly. It shows how digital footprints, like an intentionally deleted podcast, are weaponized to manufacture demand.
It exposes the grueling legal friction of modern family planning, where the emotional desire for a surrogate collides with really rigid, outdated family court defaults.
And fundamentally, it highlights the legal architecture that allows celebrities to own, rent, and exploit their own faces.
Knowledge is just so valuable when you understand the hidden mechanisms at play. Watching these two navigate the division of their physical assets, their complex biological plans, and their intellectual property, it provides a clear window into the machinery of modern fame.
Right. The viral video you see on your feed is never the whole story. It's usually just the heavily monetized tip of a very legally bound iceberg.
Always.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, specifically regarding that physical bar in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
We know that the right of publicity outlasts a marriage. In many jurisdictions, it even outlasts death.
That is an inescapable legal reality.
Right. So think about the future of physical brick-and-mortar spaces that are deeply branded with an estranged partner's right of publicity. If the divorce goes through, what actually happens to that Bunnie-themed VIP floor at Goodnight Nashville? Does it just sit there as a permanent, awkward museum to a failed 10-year romance?
Or, because her likeness is legally required to be licensed for commercial gain, does that neon sign eventually turn into a bizarre, mandatory royalty payout for an ex-spouse?
Exactly. Imagine having to cut a royalty check to your ex every single month just because their face is generating revenue on the second floor of your bar.
It is a fascinating collision of emotional closure and inescapable contract law.
Keep an eye on the fine print behind those neon lights.
For real.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.